Welcome to making leaf prints. This is a really fun project, and if you can't find any leaves outside, maybe look around your apartment building or your house, or maybe you could use a fake leaf. If you absolutely can't find one though, maybe you could just cut a leaf out of paper and use that. That's also an option, I think. So the nice thing with doing this is you just can go outside, go pick a leaf. The bigger, the better. Not bigger than like my face, but probably tiny like these little ones. They weren't gonna work as well. They're gonna be a lot harder to print. So you want something a little bit bigger, like this, or maybe even one of these bigger ones on there. Yeah, I was holding that branch. That was supposed to be a trick. All right, so go find some leaves, gather them, and then what we're going to do, you can use a little tape, or you can just put it on your paper, hold it down with one hand, and then paint around it. This is just tempera paint. And then what you want to do over here, while this is drying, or even before you start, you can paint a color in this square, whatever color you want. Then paint on your leaf and smash it on your paper, lift it up, and lift it off, not up. And you're creating a leaf stamp. So it's kind of fun and kind of a cool project. And then you can even just keep the leaf because it turns out really cool in the end. So go gather your leaves and let's get started. When you're ready to make your prints, go ahead and grab one of the leaves. So just pick it off the branch or two. You might use more than one leaf for this. And I am going to be using watercolor paper for this just because it's a little bit more sturdy, and I'm going to tape it down just so it doesn't move around, and also I just want to have a nice border around this leaf. You can use the masking tape if you want. So the first thing we're going to do is mix up some paint. So kind of think of what color you might want to paint your leaf. I'm just going to be doing like a greenish blue leaf. I'm going to have a few colors over here. I'm going to be using yellow, green, and blue. You could just use yellow and blue, make green, and you can use really whatever color you want. These are just the colors that I'm going to use. And before I start, I'm actually going to paint in this side with my yellow, just for fun. And I'll make the print over the top of it. So we're going to have two different images. We're going to have one where it's like a white leaf, and the second one is actually going to be a print of our leaf on this side. So to get the outline, I usually place my leaves so like you have one side that's a little more textured, one side that's a little flatter. So you want to put your flat side down, not your textured side. And I sometimes like to tape it. And you don't want to put tape on the top, but you can just roll a tiny little bit of tape. You don't have to do this. And just place it under it, not where you're going to be painting. And then place it where you want it to stay. And once it's there, then you can grab your foam brush and you can add the area around it. I wanted to do it green and blue, but now I'm feeling like maybe that's not the best choice. Maybe like a lime green around it, like a lighter yellow. Oh, I should have just added green to the yellow. That would have made a better color. That's okay. All right, and what you want to do is kind of paint away from it like that. You don't want to paint towards the leaf. If you do, it's going to lift up not the petals, but the parts of the leaf. Leaves and petals, those words just really are hard for me to keep apart. So we're just kind of coming out from the leaf, and tempera paint is a little bit more watery than other paints. And if you didn't use tape, that's fine. You can just paint around it however you want. I kind of like how it looks kind of coming away. And then you just grab the stem and pick it up, and you should have a nice leaf shape. There, I'm just going to pick the tape up. So that's kind of like the negative space, but now let's actually use a leaf as our stamp. And for this one, you might need a piece of paper to set it on. So we are going to be, let's just put some paint on this. All right, so I have my paints here and my leaf, and I'm going to use this as my stamp. So you could use either side. You could use this side with the veins and like all of this texture, or you could use this smoother side here. I'm just going to use this side. I don't want this to be too yellow or it'll just mix right in. So we're just gonna put paint right on this leaf. Even on the stem. All right, once you've done that, I would kind of clean your hands off because you don't want to get it on your paper. Okay, then we're just going to turn it over, carefully set it on your paper. And it's like a stamp, so you're just going to press it down. Just kind of go one leaf at a time. If you can get the stem, that's great, but sometimes it doesn't really work. And then lift it up. And you have this cool stamp. So this one is a little bit more kind of loose and light, but that's okay. You could add more paint if you wanted it to be a little bit darker. And then the last thing you can do that I think is kind of fun is just to paint the leaf. And then you can just display that. You can wait for the paint to dry and then press it, or you can just display it like this. It's really pretty. I shouldn't say pretty, but it looks really interesting this way. All right, let's take the tape off and just see what this looks like. How did that go, everybody? I hope you had fun doing that project. I think it's fun to use things you find in nature and then just, you know, create some cool art projects out of it. So here are a few different things you could do with this project. You could find some other flat objects and try to do the same thing with them, and create prints with them and make kind of outlines with them. Or you could gather a bunch of leaves, paint them, and create a collage out of them. I think that would be a super cool project to see. And also, it's just kind of fun to get outside if you can, if you live somewhere where you're able to go outside. I think it's nice to just be out there, and it feels so good to just get that sunshine on your face, if it is sunshine. I mean, it could be very well winter time when you see this and it's snowing outside and you're like, where am I gonna find a leaf? Maybe you have a plant in your house. It's nice to bring nature in sometimes. I hope you enjoyed this project. Good luck and have a great day.